Welcome back to the House of Thoughts,
where the drag is hot and we have thoughts.
My name is Sabrina.
I'm Zena.
And today we are diving into All Stars 10, episode 9. It is the final episode of the final bracket. It is the merge. It's time to wake up, Candy Muse. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Woo!
First things first, let's chat about some tea that came up after last week's episode. So Denali and Alyssa Hunter both separately spoke on the riggery and favoritism in the bracket. At Roscoe's, Denali was pretty blatantly asked how she feels about the blatant favoritism. She said basically two things can be true. Someone can be a favorite of a produced television show, and someone can also be really, really good at the show.
Yeah. Alyssa Hunter replied to a tweet from Candy Muse where Candy said she was going to stop watching due to the favoritism. Alyssa agreed, said that although she respects all her sisters, she didn't agree with Ginger winning the lip sync.
Also, Aja chimed in on Twitter and tweeted that she thought Ginger was the winner of the lip sync. Thank you very much to Matt from Drag Race Tea with Matt for the idea. I used a YouTube dislike counter extension to see how many dislikes the See You Again lip sync had. As of Friday morning when the new episode has just aired, the video has 2,700 likes and 9,000 dislikes, which means 77% of watchers and raters rated it with a thumbs down.
That's insane.
That's my jaw hit the floor.
The sheer number of reactions compared to the previous week's lip sync video is insane. It means that people specifically had to go to the YouTube video to watch it again and hit dislike because they were so mad.
Well, I kind of wondered if after the lip sync happened, people were like, did I miss like some stuff that Ginger was doing, because I was watching Denali, and I think that a lot of people went back to like see if they missed something.
I know I did. I was like doubting my own perception of reality.
You're like, rewind that. I gotta see that again.
Yeah. Roll the tapes. Also, Raja and Raven's top toot of the week was Daya Betty and her Miley from the 2013 Met Gala look.
And Alaska and Willem's top salute was Denali, and their biggest dispute was Ginger. Though they did say that they thought Denali should have kept her Miley look on.
For the lip sync?
Which I get that. And before we get into the episode, here's a word from our sponsor. Us. We do all of our own editing.
And script writing.
And tea hunting for every episode, and we're still a small channel.
So please don't forget to subscribe.
We don't make any money doing this.
None at all.
Let's get into this episode.
The girls get back in from the lip sync between Denali and Ginger, performing See You Again. Ginger is now up to 6 whopping points. Denali with 3, Daya with 2, and Alyssa, Cynthia, and Acid all with 1 point.
Now, we know that Acid Betty wanted to pool the points to make sure one of the underdogs makes it through to the next round. Mm-hmm. And Alyssa Hunter in Untucked said that she would give her point to the most consistent girl.
Which is subjective.
Very.
She said, I'm going to use my opinion.
And Daya heard, I'm getting a point.
Yeah.
So Ginger and Denali return to the workroom, and Denali feels a little robbed and sad, she says, but she's going to choose to be excited that she was in the top 2 at all. And Alyssa Hunter made it very clear that she thought Denali was going to win the lip sync. So Daya decides to give out her point first, and she gives her point to Cynthia, which Daya tweeted that Cynthia was worried about her not eating enough and her blood sugar getting low, so had a PA send over a care package for her because she was working on their looks for the challenge, and she said she ugly cried in her hotel for 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I do understand, and I think it was the right decision to give that extra point to her teammate.
And I think that she also is hoping to maybe get one back from
in
her.
Return. Yes, a little quid pro quo.
Clarice. And Cynthia does give her point to Daya, which brings Daya up to 3 points.
Acid gives a heartfelt monologue about how much she loves Cynthia, and she feels like Daya and Ginger and Denali were at the top. But she does give her point to Cynthia Lee Fontaine, bringing her to 3 points as well.
Yes.
Now, her, Daya, and Denali are all tied. It's gonna get good. Okay.
So Alyssa Hunter gives her point to Cynthia, which brings her to second place with 4 points.
Yes. Okay. So we kind of saw this coming. We saw this getting kind of set up with Daya being so ready to receive all the points from Alyssa and Cynthia.
Daya's upset. Daya's very upset. She really thought she was going to get this point from Alyssa.
Yeah, yeah.
Girl. So the next day in the workroom, things heat up. Denali congratulated Ginger on her 2 challenge wins, and Ginger said that she is proud of herself, but she did feel really bad after the lip sync because she felt like a certain contention, like the girls thought she didn't deserve the win. And Denali was like, I'm so sorry if like I made you feel that way. I'm sorry we didn't celebrate your win. And she was like, actually, it wasn't you. It was Alyssa.
Yes. Alyssa goes, well, at least I wasn't fake, girl.
At least I said it to your face.
Yes.
Like, at least I was, not being fake. And Daya, like, makes a face when she says that. And she was like, what's that face? What's good? You want to go? Like, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Daya said, I thought I was the most consistent, and I think you're a hypocrite because in Untucked, you said you were going to give your point to the most consistent, and then you didn't give your point to me. So what's happening?
And Alyssa says, well, I didn't think that you were as good in the challenge or on the runway as Cynthia was, if you want me to be real about it.
Yeah, it's my opinion, and you should just respect my opinion because I wanted to give my point to Cynthia. She's who I thought was the most consistent.
Pretty much. But they keep going back and forth, and it pretty much ends with Alyssa Hunter saying, you still the bitch.
Daya saying she's been called way worse by way better.
Ooh. RuPaul comes in, and I don't know if it was like pre-recorded, but RuPaul starts with, everybody say love. Which I think the room kind of needed.
Yeah, relieve that tension.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ru tells the girls that this week's Maxi-Challenge is an improv challenge called the Golden Bachelor. Yes, parody of The Bachelor. They will all be portraying dogs.
They will be going on 2-on-1 dates, so they'll kind of be in teams here, although it's not overtly like a team challenge.
Yes, and they were assigned their roles.
Yes. Acid is a Doberman dominatrix, while Cynthia Lee Fontaine is a Chihuahua.
Alyssa Hunter is a frisky mutt, while Ginger is a Saint Bernard, who is a boozy floozy.
Daya is a purebred poodle who thinks her don't stink.
And Denali is a needy, emotional support animal spaniel. This is weird.
Oh my God. And Zane Phillips from Fire Island is going to be the golden retriever bachelor.
The Bachelor that they must woo. So this sounds like it's going to be really freaking weird.
It's such a weird challenge. So the girls break into their teams, and Ginger and Alyssa just had an unfinished fight, and now they're working together. Ginger says, let's not go into this feeling like we have a wall, between us, so let's move forward. And Alyssa says that she's sorry, and they hug it out. And they start to dive into their characters.
Yes. Acid and Cynthia are excited to work together because they are very close. She says, we could both make it if we slay this. Cynthia says she's going to go with a Catholic sort of character inspiration for her Chihuahua. So very like God-fearing, like virginal. I don't know.
We'll see where that goes.
Yes. Acid says she's very excited to represent the BDSM community, the leather community.
And Daya and Denali are getting into their characters too. And Daya is nervous, but Denali is like, I feel so confident with this. Like, last time I was here just made me realize how good at improv I am. So she's really kind of like hyping us up too for her to do well.
I want her to do well. She does make some bold swings with this character. She decides she's going to go full British. Full British spaniel.
And Daya is basically like, okay, well, I am my dog character, so I just need to make it funny.
Yeah, do you think she felt a little called out?
I do. I do think that she was like, okay, cool, so production knows me.
I'm still the bitch.
It is time for the Golden Bitcheler. So let's talk about these 2-on-1 dates.
Yes.
The first one that we see is Acid and Cynthia.
And their scene is sort of like they're sitting on this little
Park bench
thing, both on either side of him, sort of vying for his attention.
Acid's character was kind of like a dominatrix, and then she went like submissive.
Yeah, the judges also called that out. They
Yeah.
said that she was kind of switching a bit when the character was supposed to be just a dom.
Right.
I didn't have as much of a problem with that. My thing was that it was a little bit one note. The one bit that she was doing was funny, where she was saying in the middle of a sentence and then she would say, sit, then that's funny.
Right.
But it happened almost too many times, and then the joke got old.
And like didn't land every time.
yeah, and I
too.
was wondering, okay, well, let's do something else.
Right. I feel like the scene was a little bit stale until they brought out the dog toys.
Yeah, until they brought out some props for them.
Right.
Cynthia also wasn't, she was in character, but I was like, where are the jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving Bored at the Bus Stop.
Bored at the Bus Stop is an improv game that they have you play in Improv 101, and it's like, I don't know. If you know, you know, and if you know, it's triggering, and I'm sorry I said that.
It's deceptively hard, though.
It is.
So
Because you have nothing. You have nothing to
you
work
have
with.
nothing
But
to work with.
let's keep rolling on. So, next up we have Ginger and Alyssa.
Wow. Can I just say, Ginger is so funny.
She is giving it to me right now.
Yeah, she looks crazy. It's really over the top. But what I do love is that she's really connecting with Zayn, like as a scene partner, which I think is what you need for an improv challenge.
She is certainly coming in and controlling the room. She feels very comfortable here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Alyssa. What did you think about her mutt?
I thought that it was just a little bit one note. I thought that it didn't really have peaks and valleys, and it didn't have much of a kind of character, except for every time that she would like take something off and there were more puppies.
I know.
I thought that was really funny. But it wasn't.
There was some interesting like physical comedy bits, but I agree that it did become sort of one level, as well as relying a little bit on like very vulgar humor, and then not moving on from that when that beat didn't
did
work
not
in
work.
the scene. And Ginger was trying to just redirect it and go over it to do her a favor in the scene.
Right.
But I think just Alyssa was not getting it that, ooh, I should move on from that. That joke didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, we have Daya and Denali.
Yes. Their flea bath bit was great. I thought that
Yeah.
was really funny.
And giving them a lot more to work with already in the scene.
Yes, and
Just to know.
they had kind of a like nice storyline.
Oh, they had bits.
They had bits. They were
Yeah.
like, saying things at the same time, and you could tell that they like actually put in some effort to be like, where do we want the scene to go?
Yeah, and it sort of goes against the idea of that it's an improv challenge a little bit, but honestly,
I disagree.
Yeah.
It's like it's improv, but you have to have some sort of premise to make it like interesting. The judges did criticize Denali a little bit and said it took her a little bit of time to find her character, but once she got in the hot tub, Rue was like living for it.
yeah, they said at the beginning it was giving a little bit more nervous and less needy ESA, which was the character.
Right.
But I agree. By the end in the hot tub, when she had Daya to play off of and play together, which, by the way, I love the two girls kind of running off with each other at the end, but that's great.
That scene was like, truthfully, really like awkward to watch.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
it was,
true.
like,
It got a little
awkward.
bit- I feel like it was a little weird.
No, it felt like I was intruding on like what was about to be like
The weirdest like
three-way ever. Like I felt like it was the intro to like some furry stuff that I like
Yes.
didn't mean to find. I will say I'd like to point out that Acid and Cynthia did not have any like set dressings to work with at all in their scene until they got the toys. And then as soon as we saw Ginger and Alyssa, they had a full set table with giant cocktails with Ginger Minge as the boozy character.
And a Lady and the Tramp style spaghetti and meatball platter.
Right. And I do think I do think that Denali and Daya did get a little bit more with the hot tub. Like they could use the discussion of the hot tub, but like Acid and Cynthia were just sitting in a park. Like
I gotta say, I don't even think that Ginger and Alyssa needed
and I agree with that.
The drinks and the dinner. It's kind of unfortunate. I think that Acid and Cynthia maybe could have used that prop and set a little bit more.
I agree, because Ginger was gonna have her flask with her wherever,
Regardless.
whatever scene. So she had a prop. She had something.
Alyssa as well. She had her million gajillion little baby doggies.
Right. But
so.
did anybody else? Did any single other person have a prop? Anyone else other than Ginger and Alyssa?
No.
All right, the girls are getting ready for the runway, and Acid and Cynthia are both feeling very good about their performance. Ginger feels really good about it too, but she also jokingly says that she has won $20,000 and is not above giving $10,000 for a point.
Yes. Denali is also stressed out about not getting a point because she feels like she hasn't been playing the friendship game as hard on the show as maybe some of the other girls.
So if she doesn't win this, challenge, she's worried that she might not end up with a point.
Yeah, I think maybe the time to have been worried about this was like 2 episodes
ago. So Daya and Ginger still have each other's backs, but Daya is worried because she is tied with Denali right now.
Okay, so Daya approaches Alyssa while they're all getting ready. She tells her that she doesn't trust her. Listen, I really am curious, what was Daya's aim in going over there?
Okay, so I think that Daya not only feels like she needs to be understood, so she's like talking to Alyssa until she feels like she understands like her point of view. Yeah. But also I think that she's trying to put a little bit of the pressure on Alyssa to give her a point if she needs it this episode.
I don't know. She comes in a little bit hot. But Alyssa stands by it. She says that she felt that she was fair with the point giving and that she doesn't think that Daya is mad at her. She thinks that she's mad that Cynthia now has more points and is ahead of her.
Right, and she's, really worried that she's not going to make it to the next bracket. So
Daya is crashing out.
Well, Daya now goes to Cynthia and says, I just want you to know that it's not because I don't think you deserve the points, because you do deserve her point. And Alyssa's like, wait a second. Now she's over there telling her that she does deserve my point. What does she want from me?
And it riles them up for a hot second. Cynthia does come to the rescue, though, and hits everyone with the chancla and says, simmer on down. She gave everyone a good slap.
I think everybody needed that in that moment.
Yes.
Take it to the runway.
Take it to the runway. Runway.
Rue looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
This gown.
I feel like this is a return to form. The hair and makeup looks awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this gown is windswept and gorgeous.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh. And the runway category this week is paper dolls.
Yeah. We have our beautiful guest judges, T.S. Madison and Mayan Lopez here.
Yes. So let's get into it. First on the runway is Alyssa Hunter.
Serving us this traditional Puerto Rican paper mache styled look. She calls it El Vejigante. It's like this traditional mask, and she's made it into this full sculptural look, and it's really, really cool.
This is really, really interesting. She said it was super heavy too.
I believe that. It's art. It's walking art.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a really, really great runway for her tonight.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Next up to the runway, we have Ginger Minge in her Shakespeare look. This is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like this Edwardian Marie Antoinette sort of thing. I love the pearls up in the hair.
Yes, she's definitely got her Sanderson sisters wig on here.
Yeah, you clocked that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But she did say that she hand printed or hand typed every single one of these pages, and it's all Shakespeare queer scenes.
Yeah, anything pertaining to drag, dressing in clothing of a different gender, about queerness or anything like that. So I think that's really awesome.
I think that this is a really cool look. I know what Michelle's gonna say about the Marie
Yes.
Antoinette, but it's not Marie Antoinette. Like, just because it's from that time period does not mean that they're specifically serving Marie Antoinette.
Right. If she was going to put the kibosh on every Victorian and Edwardian inspired look, she should have said that. Although I think that that's not really fair. Because
I agree.
I'm a fan of those eras of fashion, and I think that they are classic kind of for a reason. And I do think that Ginger had like a message behind the look that she did.
Absolutely.
And it was more about the Shakespeare to me
Yes.
than it was a Marie Antoinette or French royalty, which
I agree.
is a different thing.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, up next we have Denali. Wow.
This is beautiful in this like fiery fox with feathers.
Oh my gosh, it's
She
gorgeous.
says that she is doing a recreation of an analabrije. Analabrije? Forgive me about the pronunciation. But anyway, this is a representation of like a Mexican folkloric sort of fox,
And of
feathery
course,
creature.
being Denali Fox, it makes total sense.
Yes.
This is a really beautiful look. It reads paper, but it's like outside of its own
Sculpturally, I love it. It's really pretty.
Yes.
That fox, it looks like adorable and beautiful.
Yes.
You know.
I almost wish that the wings were like just open a little bit more so she could like really fully extend, because it's got this like beautiful wide wing feel to
Yeah.
it, but at the same time it is kind of wrapping her in the wings, which is like a
She's-
beautiful, thing in itself.
That's true. She is walking like it's very delicate.
Next up is Diabetes. This is so cool.
In this carapace, like bug inspired look.
Oh my gosh, I think this is so fun. It's so elevated. It's so Diabetes, and I just, other than maybe Denali, it's the closest thing that does not look like paper. She made it look like something else.
That's so true. It's almost like giving this laid chain mail. Or
Yes, it looks like metal.
Metal.
It looks
Yeah.
like metal, but it's entirely made of paper, and I really commend that.
I love the Alexander McQueen shoe, that armadillo shoe every time. Yeah, it's really cool.
Love it.
Yeah. Next up is Acid Betty, and she is in this sculpted paper Marie Antoinette.
Michelle's face was like,
You know they had to put that in.
Oh my
To be fair, these girls had not seen season 17, where
Yes.
Michelle issued the first warning that Marie Antoinette is dead on the RuPaul's Drag Race runway.
well, I thought it was her final warning, and
know.
they made such a clear point to say, "Where's my camera?"
yes.
Never.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, I like it though, that the way the hair is sculpted is really
Yes.
gorgeous.
And the origami-like folding of the cupcake silhouette was just
Did you notice she
exquisite.
had those little cutout silhouettes of
Those
her
were so
of her own
cool.
head and face and drag on it?
Those were so cool.
And of course, we love the messaging when she turns around on the back. It's
Yes.
on fire and it says, "Eat the rich."
I love
Yeah.
it.
I love it.
I love it.
I think just having it be the use of the different materials and adding sort of the political messaging under it, I think it made it forgivable that it was
Yes.
this Marie Antoinette look.
Yes. And Michelle does agree. She's like, I know that you like let it be known I'm over it, but that being said, this is a really
craftsmanship.
like well built.
Yeah, which it was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, last up on the runway is Miss Cynthia Lee Fontaine serving us dollar store realness.
Yes.
I am wearing today an ode to Cynthia Lee Fontaine's outfit, if you haven't gathered.
Okay, so Cynthia, she gives this like lovely monologue over the runway about what the look means to her, which it is a tribute to her survival of liver cancer, and she's supposed to sort of be like the ribbon.
The ribbon
I
itself,
think,
yeah.
because the color to represent that is green. Lovely story. Did she just like get those balls, which you can buy like at the Dollar Tree? You're supposed to just hang them up as decoration. She just
So
just
we're making
hung
it a
'em,
skirt.
Made it a skirt. Yeah, girl, and wrapped a little leaflet of
Yes.
paper around her shoulder.
That's no, I didn't. I didn't live for it, but
no,
I did.
it was a flop.
The first thing I thought when
It was a
I said,
flip-flop.
"What am I gonna wear today?" I remembered that I had 4 packs of the crepe paper,
crepe paper.
and
Yeah,
Here we are.
we fashioned you a look.
here we are. So at this point, I was thinking tops gonna be Ginger, probably Daya. Although there is potential that it could be also Denali or Acid, because Acid did not get critiqued.
I know. I was
this.
shook by that. But Denali did get the critique that it took her a little bit to rev up into her character.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we find out that the top 2 this week is Ginger and Daya Betty. Kind of exactly what we expected.
Yeah. I think that's correct.
Yes. Ginger looks insane right now. She's giving like Riddler with the painted face.
Absolutely. And the red hair, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
Daya
Well,
looks awesome though.
She does. I am loving that coat.
The top 2 lip sync to Mama Used to Say by Junior.
Daya is giving like real disco. She is like serving that era. And Ginger is like feeling the words of the song, but Daya is just giving it to me.
Yeah, Ginger's giving similar energy to what she did in the previous lip sync, where she's sort of having a strong stance and really working on emoting and communicating the song, which is great, but it's a pretty close call. And of course, I am out here rooting for my girl Daya Betty because honestly, she's giving me everything I need. She's definitely giving 80s glam rocker energy. And yeah, I love it. Rue's laughing at her. Like, Rue loves it.
I think she did a great
It's a
job.
nail biter. It's a close one.
Well, the winner is Daya Betty. So that brings Daya up to 6 points. Ginger is now at 8 points, and that leaves it all up to the MVQ points. So currently we have Cynthia at 4 points, Denali with 3 points, Acid and Alyssa with 1 point. I'm gooped.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Yes.
gooped.
Yes.
I'm gooped.
I
So-
can't wait to see what happens.
Woo!
Yeah, the girls do have to give their MVQ points on the main stage.
Yes.
First up to give their point is Cynthia, who gives it to Alyssa, bringing her to 2 points.
And Denali is up next and gives her point to Acid, which also brings her up to 2 points.
Alyssa gives her point to Denali, bringing her to 4 points.
Oh my gosh.
Tying her with Cynthia. So meaning Acid is going to have to be the tiebreaker. And I know she is feeling the pressure right now.
Acid cannot handle this.
No. Oh my gosh. Why are you putting her through this emotional
Right?
distress?
So Acid gives her point to Cynthia Lee Fontaine. And it brings her up to 5 points, officially putting her into the semifinals.
Wow.
Wow. So the girls moving forward is Ginger, Daya Betty, and Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Yes.
Oh
Claps
my
for our final All-Stars.
gosh. Ginger really racked up 8
cleaned up.
points. That she was in the top every single week. I mean, I know it's controversial and we expect it, but that's just an impressive.
There was
track
no way
record
she was
for
not
her.
getting there.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Whew, wow. Oh my God. That was crazy.
Yeah. So next week we'll get to see the merge.
Wake up, Candy Muse.
Yeah, we're pumped. These girls are going to go head to head in the semifinals. We do see a little preview I just want to touch on because I'm so excited for it. They are going to do Snatch Game.
Yes, I totally called it. I was like, as soon as we get all the girls together, we have to do a Snatch Game.
You know what? And I'm glad it's going to be just a straightforward.
Yes,
like,
it's not like a
classic
Snatch Game of love. It's just a nice, and we get Raja and Raven as our guest judges on Snatch Game. So someone is going home next week. So y'all better tune in here at the House of Thoughts because it's going to get gaggy, and we will bring you all of the inside scoop to all the goopery, drama, gaggery, and tomfoolery.
Oh, yes. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your favorite Shady Sister or Good Judy.
Ooh, girl. Thank you again for joining us at the House of Thoughts. Stay silly, stay weird, stay kind, stay in your lane, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!